Imagine this. You pay just $480 for an old, dusty storage unit that nobody else wanted. The lock is rusted, the paint on the door is chipped, and the auctioneer is rushing through the sale like it's nothing. Everyone else thinks it's trash, but you raise your hand, almost as a joke, and suddenly, it's yours. You push open the heavy metal door. A smell of damp cardboard and old wood hits you. It looks like nothing at first. Some broken furniture, a couple of boxes, an old mattress leaning in the corner. Disappointment washes over you. Did I just throw away $500 for junk? But then, something catches your eye. In the back, stacked neatly, are 3 large black duffel bags. They don't fit the rest of the scene. They look deliberate, clean, as if someone placed them there with intention. You drag the first one out. It's heavier than you expect. Your heart starts pounding. You open it just a few inches and freeze. Inside, you see stacks. Not clothes, not tools. Stacks of crisp, sealed bundles. You pull one out, and your brain can't process it at first. $100 bills, neatly wrapped in bands, dozens of them, maybe hundreds. You drop it. Your hands are shaking. You open the second bag, more money. The third, the same. In less than 5 minutes, you realize you're standing in front of millions of dollars in cash. You look around. Nobody else is watching. The auctioneer is already gone. It's just you, a dusty storage unit, and what looks like more money than you've ever seen in your life. $7 million. But here's the thing. Within 24 hours, everything you thought you knew about your life would flip upside down. Strangers would start calling your phone. A black SUV would be parked across your street. And before the week was over, you'd be forced to make a choice that could either make you disappear forever or leave you richer than your wildest dreams. This isn't just about finding money. It's about finding who it really belonged to. And trust me, when you hear the answer, you'll understand why the man who found it says he still regrets opening that unit to this very day.
David couldn't sleep that night. He lay in bed staring at the cracked ceiling of his tiny apartment, the city's neon glow leaking through the blinds like restless ghosts. His phone buzzed once more on the nightstand. Another notification. Another reminder of the life he wasn't living. He picked it up, thumb hovering over the screen, but instead of scrolling, he turned it face down and let out a shaky breath. What if this isn't it? What if there's something more? He whispered to himself. The words hung heavy in the silence. For years, David had drowned out that voice with distractions, endless work, mindless scrolling, meaningless routines. But now, the voice was louder. It clawed at him, demanding an answer. The next morning, David walked into the office, fluorescent lights flickering overhead, casting everyone in shades of gray. The endless rows of cubicles looked like cages, each worker hunched over a screen, typing the same keystrokes, living the same loop. His boss, a man with hollow eyes and a coffee-stained tie, barked orders without looking up. David sat down, but his mind was elsewhere. The words from last night echoed in his head like a broken record. What if there's something more? By lunch, he couldn't take it anymore. He grabbed his coat, ignored his colleagues' confused glances, and walked straight out the door. The cold air hit him like a slap, but it felt good. For the first time in years, he felt awake. He wandered the streets aimlessly, hands deep in his pockets, until he found himself standing in front of an old bookstore tucked between 2 skyscrapers. The sign above the door was faded, the letters barely visible. The Turning Page. Something about it pulled him inside. The bell above the door chimed, and the smell of dust and old paper wrapped around him like an old friend. Shelves towered over him, lined with books that seemed older than time itself. At the counter sat a frail man with silver hair and piercing eyes that seemed to look straight through David's soul. "Lost?" he asked without lifting his head. Yeah, I guess you could say that." The man finally looked up, a knowing smile tugging at his lips. "People don't find this place by accident. Sit." David hesitated, but pulled up a creaky chair. The man slid a book across the counter, its leather cover cracked, the title worn away.
The book felt heavier with every step David took. It wasn't just leather and paper. It felt alive, pulsing faintly in his hands as if it had a heartbeat of its own. By the time he reached his apartment, his palms were slick with sweat, and the city lights behind him looked more distorted than usual, like reality itself was bending. Inside, he tossed the book onto his small kitchen table and paced back and forth. He stared at it like it was a bomb ready to explode. "It's just a book," he told himself. "Just a stupid old book." But his words rang hollow. Deep inside, he knew the truth. This wasn't just a book. This was a test. Finally, with trembling fingers, he opened it again. The first page had changed. Instead of childhood memories, he saw words written in a script that seemed to shimmer like liquid gold. "You stand at the edge of who you are and who you could become. Choose." David swallowed hard. He flipped to the next page. The room around him darkened. The flickering ceiling light sputtered, then died completely. Shadows crawled across the walls, stretching like long fingers. In the silence, he heard a faint tick, 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 like a clock counting down. The page revealed an image. Him, 5 years from now, his hair grayer, his face hollow, his body hunched over the same office desk. His hands trembled from exhaustion as the boss loomed over him, faceless this time, just a blur of authority and oppression. David's stomach dropped. "No, that's not me." The page flipped on its own. Now he saw a different version of himself, taller, stronger, dressed in a sharp suit, standing at the steps of a mansion, his eyes fierce with confidence. Stacks of money, luxury cars, a family smiling beside him. The image glowed golden, almost blinding. His heart pounded. That's who I could be?" The golden image pulsed once, like it was breathing, and then shattered like glass, scattering into smoke. A line appeared on the page. "Dreams don't wait. Neither should you." David staggered back from the table. His chest tightened as if invisible hands were squeezing him. His breaths came fast and shallow. "Why me? Why this?" he gasped. The shadows on the wall shifted. For a split second, he thought he saw figures moving inside them, whispers of people, their mouths open in silent screams. He blinked, and they were gone. But then, his phone lit up. He grabbed it instinctively. A new notification. "Don't ignore it." His skin prickled with goosebumps. No number, no app, just those words. "Okay, this is insane," David muttered. He tossed the phone onto the couch, but it buzzed again. Another message appeared. "You asked for change. The book is the answer." His knees nearly buckled. It was as if someone or something was watching him, guiding him, pushing him.
David couldn't sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the images from the book, the miserable, broken man at the desk, and the golden version of himself, powerful and unstoppable, glowing like a god. But more than the visions, it was the voice that haunted him. That silent, commanding presence behind every word on the page. He felt it even now as he sat in the dark, his shattered phone lying in pieces across the floor. The book remained open on the table. Its pages shifted in the breeze from the cracked window, whispering softly, as if alive. And then a new page revealed itself. Words appeared, burning into the parchment like fire. Sacrifice is not a choice. It is the price. What will you give? David's pulse quickened. Sacrifice? The shadows in the corners of his apartment seemed to lean in closer, waiting for his answer. He whispered, his voice shaking, "I've already given up my phone. Isn't that enough?" The words on the page shimmered, then rearranged into something new. Objects are only the surface. You must dig deeper. A chill ran down his spine. He glanced at the framed photo sitting on his nightstand, a picture of him and his younger brother, Michael, back when life was simpler, before the job, before the crushing routine. Michael had always been the dreamer, the one who told David he was meant for more. But Michael was gone now, taken in a car accident years ago. David's throat tightened. "I have nothing left to give." The page darkened, ink dripping like black blood across the parchment. "Then you will lose what you refuse to surrender." Suddenly, the lights in his apartment flared back on, buzzing violently, and his laptop, long dead from disuse, powered itself up. The screen flickered, static filling the room. Then a video appeared. It was him, David, sitting at his desk at work, slaving over spreadsheets, the faceless boss hovering behind him. Except this wasn't the past. This was live. The timestamp in the corner showed tomorrow's date. "No," David whispered, shaking his head. "That's impossible." The faceless boss leaned closer to the David on screen, whispering something inaudible. The David in the video looked up, his eyes hollow, his face pale. And then the words appeared on the screen, in big, bold letters. The hallway swallowed David whole. There was no sound, no echo of his footsteps, only the suffocating silence of an endless void. The walls stretched high above him, black and seamless, as if carved from shadow itself. The only light came from a faint golden glow pulsing ahead, like a heartbeat, distant, beckoning. His pulse matched it. Boom, boom, boom. Every step forward pulled him deeper into something unreal, something ancient. The air grew heavier, thick with the metallic scent of rust and old blood. He could feel it, eyes on him, dozens, hundreds, watching from the darkness, though nothing stirred. Then he heard it. Whispers, soft, overlapping voices, impossible to pin down. They seeped into his mind like smoke, each one saying the same words in different tones. "You chose, you chose, you chose." David pressed forward, his fists clenched. "I didn't choose you. I chose myself." The whispers fell silent. The golden glow ahead surged brighter, blinding for an instant. And then he saw it. A door. Not like the one to his apartment. This was massive, towering, ornate, carved from obsidian with veins of fire glowing through its cracks. The symbol from the book pulsed on its surface, alive, breathing with him. David reached out. The metal burned his hand, but he didn't pull away. He shoved it open, and the world changed. He was no longer in the void. He stood in the middle of a city street, but it wasn't any city he knew. The sky burned orange and red. Skyscrapers twisted into impossible angles, glass shimmering with reflections of faces he didn't recognize. Cars sat abandoned, their doors open, horns blaring into the silence. In the middle of the street lay hundreds of books, all of them identical to his, their pages fluttering, glowing faintly. He stepped closer. One of them snapped shut violently, as if it sensed him. Then another, and another. One by one the books slammed closed until only his remained open in his hands. A gust of wind ripped through the street, carrying a single voice, clear and sharp. "You are not the first." David spun around. A figure emerged from the shadows of a broken building. It wore a suit, just like his boss, but its face, it shifted, flickering between strangers, colleagues, his brother, himself. Every time David blinked, it was someone new. "What are you?" David demanded. The figure tilted its head. "The cost, the promise, the reflection. You broke your chains, but freedom demands a price. You've destroyed objects, jobs, illusions, but the final sacrifice remains." David's chest tightened. "What sacrifice?" The figure pointed at him. Its face stabilized for the first time, and it was Michael, his brother. The same smile, the same eyes, except they glowed gold, burning with unnatural light. David staggered back. "No, you're not him. You can't be." The figure smiled sadly. "He is in you, and he is what you refuse to surrender." The book in David's hands grew unbearably hot. The words appeared across the open page. "Destroy the last anchor." David froze. His mind raced. The last anchor? Himself. He dropped to his knees, shaking his head violently. "No, I didn't come this far